Semi-final Friday, Petro-Canada Olympic Winter Games morning. As you know, Sidney Crosby will visit the room, but he won't suit up in the room today. Connor McDavid's been sensational. He wears the C against Sebastian Aho. 3 Florida Panthers, 4 Dallas Stars, a loaded Finland team. High drama. Whenever Perdita and I stand in this particular spot, we feel fortune shining down on us. We look up into the rafters and we see the lighting grid, and it's numbered for positioning, for installation, and of course for utilization. By sheer coincidence, those two numbers represent the very best of best on best.
Here's Lemieux poking at the center. Lemieux ahead to Gretzky. Has Murphy with him on a 2-on-1 to Lemieux. And on goal, he shoots, he scores! Mario Lemieux!
A back pass doesn't work. 3 Canadians, 2 back, and are coming in hard. Korea to the net, right in front, the pass, score! Wow! Yzerman, a beautiful setup by Lemieux. 2-0 Canada.
There's Wayne Gretzky, the architect of that team in Salt Lake City, James. And what's interesting, it was Finland, the quarterfinals. They made a change in the lineup. They gave Joe Sakic his own line, James, and they put Yzerman on the line with Paul Kariya and Mario for that game-winning goal. So very brilliant Wayne Gretzky. Maybe he'll join you today. Who knows?
We expect him in a few minutes, Ron, and some of that line shuffling with big names will be going on today without Sidney Crosby for the first time in his status as an Olympian in 3 Olympics, not in the lineup today. As you mentioned, Kevin Bieksa, Cassie Campbell, Pascal, Elliot Friedman, Cheryl Pounder. I guess not a surprise that Sid is not in the lineup, maybe a bigger surprise of how close he came.
It sure does seem like it was at least possible as late as early this afternoon. We skated this morning. You know, I think a lot of us who are reporting here were texting everyone that we could think of. Is he playing? Is he playing? Is he playing? And there was a lot of don't know until about an hour and 20 minutes ago. They tried everything, I heard, everything that was in their power to have him available for this game. But ultimately, I guess it was just decided he couldn't go.
All right, so the repercussions down the lineup as we look at the Canada lines for this day. Connor McDavid, of course, is the captain. Tom Wilson back with McDavid and Celebrini. MacKinnon gets Jarvis and Horvat. Nick Suzuki takes Crosby's place between Marner and Stone, and then Bennett, Marchand, and Hagel. Bennett back in after being sick. What do you make of it, Kevin?
I make of it, they're trying to get Tom Wilson back into the rotation. He doesn't play any special teams, so if you don't play him on that top line, he's not going to get a regular shift to have an impact. MacKinnon is at center right on that board, but Bo Horvat will take majority of the faceoffs, I think. Jarvis up there was a little bit questionable for me. I thought maybe Marner would slot in, but the Suzuki Stone Marner line cast, they've been steady throughout.
Yeah, some continuity, right? So you keep as many lines together as you possibly can. I actually like Jarvis on that line because with MacKinnon potentially not at 100%, he brings some speed and some energy to that line. So I like the little tweaks that they've made there.
MacKinnon looked better in warm-up today than he did last game, just a heads up.
Well, it'll be interesting if he does wind up moving to the wing and how long this lasts, whether John Cooper elevates him. But I'm also looking at Nick Suzuki in the middle. It is so difficult to play the wing, especially if you're Nick Suzuki. Scores the biggest goal of his life with that tip, and it's in the middle. And one of the things I'm looking for him, guys, and you talked about it earlier, Kevin, was that he can pick up speed now coming through underneath the puck. And that's really important versus coming off of the wall.
I actually said he had a slow first 3 steps, and he's better in the middle.
Yes. No, for sure, yeah. But so coming off of the wall.
Thanks for not calling me out on that.
About 13 minutes from the drop of the puck. Lots more ahead for you. Let's get more now from Kyle Bukauskas.
Yeah, James, you have to know that Sidney Crosby's presence is still going to be felt among the rest of the players here today, even if not on the ice. Connor McDavid grew up surrounded by Crosby's presence, all the 87 paraphernalia he had in the house. Imagine what he thinks about borrowing the captaincy from Sid in such a big game like today. Back in 2013, Garrett Joyce wrote an incredible feature warning us all of what was coming from the teenager from Newmarket, the Sportsnet magazine back then. There it was in big bold letters, better than Crosby, an early sign of potential greatness. And speaking of signs, we showed you parts of the signage in Team Canada's dressing room earlier in the tournament. All the vision of that man, David Klevkov, who Team Canada first met at Worlds a couple of years ago. So not only did he make that dressing room feel like home, but he also designed a lot of the Hockey Canada headquarters here in Milan, the Ice Palazzo. And one of the neatest touches of it has to be the drink tickets that are handed out to the family and guests that arrive there that look like old school Canadian $1 bills, and the kicker of it all, featuring the faces of the men's and the women's players on those bills. And McDavid certainly has been money here for Canada all tournament long, continuing to rewrite the Olympic record. But Canada has to be, again here today, without one of their most valuable. James.
My wife and I came home with a Drew Doughty dollar bill, which we tried to use to pay for dinner, but it didn't work. Joining us, not only the greatest hockey player of all time, but a man who's played every role for Canada at the Olympics, superstar player in 1998, the man, the architect of the team in 2002, and that special once in 50 years gold medal, special advisor in 2010, and now a fan here in 2026, the great one, Wayne Gretzky. We saw the anxiety on your face watching that Czech quarterfinal. We know you were at Hockey Canada's house cheering on the women. Has your heart taken as much abuse as the rest of us over the last couple of days?
Yeah, you guys know it's like we want to win so badly, right? But I just saw Doug Armstrong and I said, I'm not as nervous as you are today. I know the feeling that you're going through right now. But when you put the Canadian jersey on, that's all we think about is gold, right? And we all watched it last night. The Canadian women played so good last night, as good as they could play. And get late goal and lose in overtime. What a tough way to lose, but they should be very proud of what they accomplished. They played their hearts out.
Wayne, I want to ask you about MacKinnen Celebrini and how productive he's been in the Olympics. He's 19 years old. I asked your buddy Biz the other day, I go, think about where you were at 19, Biz. Think about where Elliot was, I was. But you, at 19 years old, 2019, you had 212 points and you're plus 81. So you're one of the few people who knows what it's like to be productive as a teenager. What do you think of MacKinnen?
He's been incredible. He's very mature. Obviously, you guys have been watching him play. He fits right in. He's playing not only for Canada, but he's playing with the greatest player in the world, and that's not easy to do. But he's fit in nicely. It reminds me of me in 1981. I got to play with Guy Lafleur. Everywhere Guy Lafleur went, I went. They were calling us Yogi and Boo Boo because I think I was by his side more than anybody. But I idolized him so much, and he taught me so much. But Celebrini and his family and friends, they got to be very proud of what he's done for Canada. He's been as good as anybody in this tournament.
Crosby being out today, I couldn't help but think of when you got hurt in 91.
Yeah.
How did you motivate the Canadians, and how were they able to win without their leader and captain?
It's ironic because I had lunch yesterday with MacKinnen here in Italy, and we talked about that. We had so many great players of Messier and guys like that. They just took it over. They took over the locker room. It was such a good hockey club. And for Canada, and this is the one thing I said, you don't replace Sidney Crosby. He's too good. He's too valuable. He's been too important to the game. I think where we're going to miss him a lot is on the bench, that common effect that he has, because there's always that one guy in the team when things aren't going great, you look to and say, okay, what's he doing? How's he handling himself? And I think if there's one area that you don't replace Sidney, that's on the bench and in the locker room.
You know, you've been part of the management side of things, so you're getting to this point of the tournament. What has to be Doug Armstrong's role?
You know, it's just got to be a supporter. You know, all his work is done over the last couple of years, putting the coaching staff together, the trainers, the PR department. Hockey Canada takes care of a lot of that. And then once you and your management team and the coaches decide, okay, this is our group, then you kind of take a step back and you let the coaches take it over. But I will tell you, because I'm next door neighbors with John Cooper in the summertime, and obviously we're good friends, he picked Bennington as his goaltender since last January. He never wavered from that one bit. Even the last few months when people were saying, are we sure? Are we sure? And I said, John, you stuck with this guy. You believe in him. He's a pressure goalie. He proved that again the other night against the Czechs. And I said, you look at the goaltenders who are in this tournament right now. He's the one guy that's got his name on the Stanley Cup. And that's the goalie I want in my net if I'm the coach of this hockey club.
So, Wayne, I think Cooper's done a great job coaching this group of superstars. I'm just kind of interested in your opinion on this. The Finns and more so the Swedes, there's been some rumblings at the tournament of the players unhappy with their coaching. Their coaching staff has never played or coached outside of Sweden. Do you think guys can coach NHL guys that don't have the experience of being around NHL guys?
Well, I'm not going to criticize other countries. But I will say this. It's much easier for a guy like John Cooper and Rick Tocchet and Cassidy, Peter DeBoer. Those guys have been around the National Hockey League. They know what the NHL players like, and they know what they don't like. They know how to treat them. Days off, hard practices, videos, how long meetings are. They got a sense of that. So obviously, I think Sullivan with the U.S. team, same thing. They're comfortable with having guys who are in the National Hockey League.
A great answer. Elliot?
That was a great question.
Wayne, a lot ahead, 2 big games before we get the Canada-USA matchup in either a gold medal game or I guess suppose a bronze medal game. This has been a very unsettling year for Canadians. The tension between Canada and the U.S. is at a point that we've never seen in our lifetimes, and the tentacles of all that have reached into hockey. We saw it at Four Nations where it boiled over. It will be a massive subplot if they play again here. And you have been pulled into this over the last year. What would be your message to Canadians today?
Very simple. First of all, let's worry about the game, right? That's most important. Let's hope for that Canada can get to that final game. But listen, I'm a hockey player. I'm a Canadian. I'm a true Canadian. I want Canada to win a gold medal. I've never wavered from that. I've been friends with presidents, prime ministers. Somehow, as you said, there's a little bit more tension than normal. At the end of the day, Canada and the U.S. are like brothers and sisters. They're going to fight and argue, but eventually you come together, right? And that's the way I see it.
Lastly, what do you think today? What's the key?
The key is a good start. I think if we get off to a good start, I really like the physicality of our hockey club. Wilson can set the tone early. That's going to be important for our hockey club. I honestly think we've had a really good tournament. I think Canada plays their best game of the tournament tonight.
Do you have a bet with Yari Curry?
Do I have one with Yari Curry?
Yeah.
Yeah, over deer meat.
Thank you for supporting the women's team too last night.
Thank you.
Thank you
was
so
fun.
much.
I had so much fun because a lot of the players from the men's team, their parents were at the game, so we all enjoyed it to the very end. We thought we were going away with a gold.
And we thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the game today.
Thank you guys. You guys do a great job.
Wayne Gretzky with us. Lots more ahead as we're just a few minutes away from the drop of the puck. Canada and Finland with a ticket to the gold medal game on the line. Back at Santa Giulia Arena in Milan, thousands of Canadians. They've sort of filled in. It was quiet near the beginning of the tournament, but more and more. And today they are ready. One game from the gold medal game. It's Canada versus Finland. The Canadians about to take to the ice. There is Connor McDavid. He never wanted to wear the C for this tournament, but with Sidney Crosby out, he will wear it today. Josh Morrissey also out for Canada. If you're just joining us, Kevin, Cassie, Cheryl, Elliot, keys to today.
Cale Makar, he's the key. He's going to play the most. He's got to be the best player.
I love the fact that Connor McDavid has been named the captain. He's going to have to elevate. Look how he came out flying onto the ice there to start this game.
To me, it needs to be by committee. You don't have your captain in Sidney Crosby. You got to get out there, and every single line has to find a way to contribute.
Seth Jarvis said the Czechia game was a wake-up call. Better start.
What a remarkable couple of days of hockey in Milan. The last 5 games, 3 men's quarterfinals, women's bronze, women's gold, all settled in OT. Buckle up because here we go again. A spot in Sunday's gold medal game on the line. To call it for you, Chris Cuthbert and Mike Johnson.
Thank you, James. Welcome viewers on CBC Sportsnet, TSN platforms, and listeners across the CBC radio network. Canada with a comeback win against Czechia. Finland a multi-goal comeback overtime victory against Sweden. And now they're ready to face off with a berth in the gold medal game on the line. There's UC Saros, who has stopped 91 of 97 in goal for Finland in this tournament. James mentioning the C on the chest of Connor McDavid. Mike Johnson, a few different lines, including the one that will start this game.
You think John Cooper setting the tone? Sam Bennett back healthy, was sick last game. He gets the start with Marchand. I'm not sure how much Brad Marchand will play, but this is clearly with Brandon Hagel. Set the tone, be physical, and get your team in the game right away.
There'll be 4 Florida Panthers on the ice to start this game, as the Finns will go with Anton Lundell, Eetu Luostarinen, and Capo Kakko to start this game. Colton Parayko paired with Thomas Harley to start. That's another one of the tweaks, and away we go winner goes to the gold medal game on Sunday. Ristolainen starts up front, and that'll be Nico Mikkola flipping it down. Team Canada scored first in each of their 4 games. Finland 2-0 in games in which they have scored first. And away goes Marchand. Here's Marchand over the line with Hagel. First shot wide of the net. Bennett goes after it. It'll come to the line, kick 3, and Kakko's got it at center and will dump it down into the Team Canada zone. Out comes Connor McDavid. Macklin Celebrity and Tom Wilson. This line has combined for each of the opening goals for Canada. Celebrity's got a couple. Here is Wilson looking to center in front, and play halted 50 seconds in as the top line goes to work.
And the pace on the forecheck for that first line paying dividends again. And Canada knows what they have in Finland. A defensive team that's going to make it very difficult, but if you can turn pucks over, get them off the wall, and it's actually off a skate of Heiskanen. And what Finland will try to do is get Heiskanen out there as much as possible against McDavid.
And Heiskanen leads the tournament in time on ice, 26-21 his average ice time. Roope Hintz sends it in. It'll be shoveled by Heiskanen into the corner. Now MacKinnon, there's the line with Bo Horvat and Seth Jarvis, a line you kind of anticipated, Mike Johnson.
Well, you're looking to get some speed on the wings of MacKinnon, maybe a centerman to play in his own end and take faceoffs in Horvat. And Jarvis hasn't played a lot, but when he's played well, so he gets a crack at a very important line in this game.
Makar on the tape for Jarvis, and Heiskanen back there. It gets by MacKinnon back to the Team Canada line. Makar and Taves. Taves leads the tournament plus minus at a +9. Off the bench, they go right back to Celebrini, McDavid, and Wilson. The big hit by Tom Wilson on Matt. Up ahead, deflected just inside the line by Wilson. Tom Wilson played just .833 in the game against Czechia. That bounced off Wilson back in and offside.
And Tom Wilson got a little lost in the shuffle, had a couple turnovers on the wall, and he didn't get as much ice time as he would have liked, but this is what he can do on the forechecks, especially early. And he leans into Mantapalo. Clean hit, heavy one though. And the first line trying to turn pucks over on the forecheck.
Canada won the matchup on 4 Nations between these two teams. It was 5-3 on an empty net goal by Sidney Crosby. Team Canada led by 4. And then the Finns stormed back in the final 10 minutes to make it very uncomfortable. Back to the line. Here's Yoki Harju, a shot, and there is Jordan Binnington with his first stop. So Mike Johnson in the middle round will be between the benches.
Good place to be.
You've got the best view in the house.
I mean, to see it going back and forth between them. And we're going to watch the personality of the Canadian bench in this game. If the game is tight, if it gets stressful, that's where Sidney Crosby and his presence helps calm everything down. He won't be there in this game. We'll see how the bench reacts without the personality of their leader.
Eric Furlat and Dan O'Rourke are the referees for this game. Ryan Daisy and a Danish linesman will call icings and offsides as the puck just inside the line, and Makar watched there by Roope Hintz. Hintz out with Teravainen and Granlund. As Antti Pennanen has changed some lines. Here's a pass for Celebrity, and the shot blocked by Ristolainen as he tied up the youngster. And Ristolainen got bumped at center as he dumped it in, and Tom Wilson making his presence felt early in this one. Up ahead it goes to Celebrity. Flying in is McDavid. Connor McDavid back in front, and Saros with a huge stop there of Macklin Celebrity.
So you're getting a sense of what Team Canada is trying to do. A couple dump-ins for the first line, huge body checks, trying to turn it over with Tom Wilson, and then they go to the post and go. So here's the earlier collision. Ristolainen might have got the best of that one, which drew a rise out of the Finnish bench. But if you can get a little zone entry with McDavid and Celebrini, good things are going to happen. That's an excellent save for Jussi Saros early. But you dump it in when you have to, and then you make plays when ice becomes available.
Celebrini with a goal in each of the games so far, and what a chance to open the scoring here in the semifinal. Shea Theodore a little trouble with that as he battles along with Capo Caco. Lundell's on it, worked over by Doughty. Up the boards, past Marchand, kept in at the line. Here's Lundell, a shot doesn't get through. Heiskanen on the other side. In behind for Lundell. Caco battles for it. Puck pried loose, and Reinhardt on the ice this time. He's listed as the 13th forward, and number 13 goes in after it. Heiskanen around the boards. That'll be sent to the near side as Mikko Rantanen is on the ice. Rantanen, who has more goals against Jordan Binnington than any other NHL player with 15. Yoki Harju. Rantanen on the move, Sebastian Aho. Arturi Lehkonen, the hero in overtime against Switzerland's on the ice. That one blocked away by Binnington, who had to look through the traffic. Now MacKinnon just outside the line. Gets tied up, battling with Lehkonen, and the Finns on the puck. Olli Mata, Yuki Harju, Erik Haula, and now Kiviranta, who has been on the fourth line and been an extra forward so far in this tournament. Chopped away by Suzuki. Over the boards comes the overtime hero for Team Canada, Mitch Marner. And with the absence of Sidney Crosby, getting centered by Nick Suzuki. Mark Stone on the other side as it's dumped down the ice by the Finns. Thomas Harley at the wheel. Harley will fire it in from center. Marner after a great tip for Stone. Marner following up, trying to feed it back. Granlund there, and the puck out to center. Kyle Granlund across. Here comes Hintz with a shot. And the rebound played by Suzuki and dumped off the boards and out by Marner. Played back in, that's offside against the Finns.
And Jordan Binnington did what he had to do against Czechia. But one of the areas where Canada has been vulnerable this tournament has been on rebounds. And so you'll see Finland shoot from a lot of different areas. That's a rebound that is spit back out away from Binnington, not ideal to the corner. And has been a theme for the opposition as well as Canada. Attack Binnington on the rebound.
Off the face-off, Ristolainen sends it in. Finns, the defending Olympic champions. Team Canada won the last Olympics with NHL players. Nikola in the middle. There's Lehkonen. He'll bounce it down on Binnington.
Tom Wilson is flying around this rink, hitting people right now.
And now Celebrini into the zone. Got bumped off the puck. Rantanen sends it back, and here's Nico Mikkola. Did he get to the red line? They're going to say yes. A little indecision there before they wave that off, and now Makar up the boards. Unable to glove that down. Reinhardt, and play called in front of the Team Canada bench. Glad you're watching on CBC Sportsnet, TSN, and listening on the CBC Radio Network. Time in Team Canada history than the one scored by Nick Suzuki.
There wasn't much else going on, and they needed a hero, and Suzuki stepped up to find a way. Canada's trying to get McDavid out against someone not Lundell or Aho.
And here is McDavid working his way in. 11 points in the tournament, 4 multi-point games. Wilson trying to track down that ricochet off the end boards. Now McDavid spins away, and that shot didn't miss by much from Sanheim. Celebrini's on it. Here's Celebrini back to Sanheim. In back door, and Wilson had his stick tied up there. Teuvo Teravainen may have saved the goal.
Give John Cooper credit. Late line change, get McDavid out against Haula, turn a puck over, couple great chances generated.
Doughty looking ahead. It goes off the stick of Reinhardt. Out there along with Bennett and Hagel. Hagel goes after it along the boards, but it's in the middle for Luostarinen trying to crack through. And Lundell gloved down by Binnington.
Saved by Jordan Binnington. Take that chop puck and snare it from Anton Lundell, who's been playing with his Florida line mate. Here's the chances for Canada. Sanheim trying to find Wilson on the back door. Good tie-up by Haula to get his stick off the ice. Any touch would have worked, or even a skate touch from there often can be effective.
So Sebastian Aho on that draw, but Nathan MacKinnon wins it for Team Canada. Hit the linesman. That could have been a problem, but Taves sends it out. Pass across on the near side for Rantanen. There's Rantanen, checked by Makar, his old teammate in Colorado. Now it's Aho in front, and Binnington able to knock that away. Rantanen on the doorstep. Now MacKinnon chops it out to center. Speaking of Colorado, Jared Bednar had a delayed practice so they could watch the last game. A chance in front, and a great stick there. Broken up by Horvat. And Team Canada will clear it down the ice. Oh, Horvat in a good defensive position. Now sent ahead, and it's Hintz for Teravainen, who spins it down into Team Canada territory. Crashing in there is Granlund, the captain of Finland. It'll be sent ahead, and out of the zone, Suzuki onto the left side for Marner. He'll steer it in. Mikkola up the boards for Granlund. He had 2 goals in the Four Nations matchup between these two teams. Mikkola in, and that blocked by Parayko. Team Canada turns it. Here's Suzuki. Deflected in, and Suzuki after it against Mikkola. Around for Ristolainen. Granlund in support, glove down, and sent back in by Harley. Forechecking is Marner. Ristolainen is away. And redlining in for Finland. That one overskated, and a chance. Binnington to the stop. And McDavid takes over, and Theodore sends it ahead for Celebrini. Got McDavid on the move. Macklin, Celebrini can't force the shot through. Esa Lindell there defensively for Finland. Theodore back. Theodore around. It gets past McDavid, and Heiskanen down the ice. Past 9 minutes of this opening period. Here is Miro Heiskanen dumping it in. After it goes Yoel Armia. Kiviranta, Armia, and Haula together on a line, and it's Eric Haula in behind the net. That gets past Armia. Marchand on the far side. Now Taves arrives. Works over Armia along the boards, but he stays on the puck. Now loose, and Team Canada's got control. Up ahead to Sam Bennett. He's checked at center. Harley followed up, but now Marchand.
Too many men.
We've got a penalty.
Count to 6 there. Thomas Harley on the turnover by Bennett outside the blue line. Aborted his change, and there were 6 guys on the ice.
Canada bench runner, 2 men on the ice.
And isn't it ironic, don't you think, that it would be Team Canada to take too many men after what happened against Czechia?
Taves was changing. Turnover happened. He stepped back on, and pretty clear extra guy out there. The danger of the move right in front of your own bench while executing a change. Sam Bennett turned it over. Sam Bennett will be the one having to serve the minor. So a power play for Finland. 2 for 10 in the tournament. Just okay. But looking to open the scoring with the man advantage.
They were 0 for 2 against Switzerland. Team Canada gave up a power play goal to Czechia in their quarterfinal. 7 of 9. Off the draw, Finland controls. Granlund down, that pass for Armia doesn't work. Taves sends it ahead, and off the stick of Heiskanen and out. Suzuki and Hagel, the penalty killers for Team Canada. Miro Heiskanen trying to work his way through. Armia across. That'll reach Rantanen on the far side, on the near side, excuse me, and now Heiskanen, Granlund, Miro Heiskanen onto the stick of Rantanen. Gets it back from Aho. In front, back door, and that deflects wide. He was looking for Granlund, and the puck comes out to center.
Canada did a good job sorting it out. Backdoor Aho, slot Armia. Hagel and Makar, communication, stick position, took both away.
So they'll change it up as Hintz comes on. Granlund upended. And Mark Stone, along with Marner, get it back down into finish ice. So a minute gone and the too many men penalty against Team Canada. Hintz will drop it off. Now Arturi Lehkonen will take over as the Finns make adjustments. Hastinen's gone to the bench. Lehkonen advances. Just another clutch goal for Arturi Lehkonen. Mark Stone might have something here as he works in, but they get back quickly, including Lehkonen for Finland.
Watch Finland's dumps. They're putting it in the glass all the time, trying to negate Binnington. Whenever they can, get it up where he can't touch it.
Here's Makar sweeping it around. Knocked down there by Lehkonen. Loose again, and Makar's got a chance to clear, and does. Final 10 seconds of the power play. No shots for the Finns yet. Ristolainen to big Nico Mikkola. Over the line, Lundell can't barge through. Here goes Marchand. Bennett gonna come out of the box as Marchand has it go off a stick high and out, but a tiny penalty kill for Team Canada as they prevent the Finns from registering a shot on goal. Still scoreless, opening period.
Olympic team played on one of those World Junior squads, so a lot of this core in many ways grew up together. About half of this group skates together in Helsinki at various points in the summertime, so there's a lot of familiarity here. Sebastian Aho said even after that tough opening game here against Slovakia, the room was always good, nobody panicked, they trust each other, Chris.
They are always in the mix. World champions in 19 and 22, medals in 7 of the last 10 Olympics, 4 medals in 5 Olympics involving NHL players.
Which is the most of any country. Tells you a little something.
And it really does speak to what Kyle talks about, how tight this group is, how familiar they are.
They play the same, every national team, every tournament, same style, and it's a winning combination.
Always a handful, Sanheim back, and it doesn't look like it's going to be any different here today. Good thing this guy's on Team Canada. Red line and in for Connor McDavid. Saro's unable to knock that down. It'll come to Doughty, rolling puck, and shot it wide of the net. Celebrini off the boards. In behind the net for McDavid. Look back for Celebrini, and that bounced off a Finn and played back in deep. Celebrini after it there. Comes loose, and Kakko for Mikkola, and down the ice. Sanheim and Doughty regroup. Here's Marchand to work. Or excuse me, Marner. Marner over the line with Suzuki and Stone. And that went by Marner's skate. Armia out to center ice. Suzuki there defensively. He goes down, as does Kiviranta. Here's Kiviranta with it. Close play at the line. It's ruled onside. Marner tying up his man, and it's loose for Harley. Now Suzuki and Parayko. Backhanded in from just outside the Finn line. Team Canada changing it right back to McDavid, Celebrini, and Wilson, but the other way. And there's a great play defensively by Taves to pick the pocket of Rantanen. Away goes Makar. Makar tried to barge through. Unable to do so. Mata off the boards, kept in by McDavid. And then off Lehkonen and out. Taves for Celebrini. Looking for Wilson. Barging through is Tom Wilson. Back to Celebrini. Trying to get it to McDavid. It got by him. And Granlund works it back down the ice.
You can tell it's going to be a very hard game to get much off the rush for Canada. 5 Finns backing up. They're good in the neutral zone.
Got 7-3. MacKinnon able to work his way in. Back from Horvat. Horvat crashing through. MacKinnon tried to center. Couldn't get it past Hintz. Now Jarvis after it. Harley steps up. Granlund tries to play it past him and does. Almost feels like that means the first goal gets even more important in a game like this. Neither team has lost when scoring first. Mikkola leans on his man. Shea Theodore will flip it in. And both teams in the midst of a change.
Have to be willing to be patient. Have to be comfortable. Long stretches of not much going on.
Theodore back. Around it goes. Sam Reinhart's on the move. Bennett with him. Over the line with Marchand. Couldn't get it through. And turned back. And this looks like icing against the Finns.
It's amazing. Every single offense zone faceoff. Here goes McDavid. And MacKinnon will join him and Celebrini for the offensive zone start by John Cooper. Trying to get his offensive guys in the most offensive situations as possible.
Finns have won 7 of the first 10. Clean face-off win, MacKinnon. It'll come across, and here's Sanheim in front. And a backhand by Sanheim that flipped high over the net. Now McDavid to Sanheim. So MacKinnon, Celebrini, and McDavid together for the first time in the game. Celebrini trying to center. That rejected. MacKinnon along the boards. Theodore across. Down low it goes. McDavid trying to post up there, and it's MacKinnon who takes over. MacKinnon sharp angle, and that went off the mask of Saros.
The net rippled behind Saros. It might have been his elbow. Canada's bench think it went in. But I think it was Saros actually touching the underside of the net, maybe with his elbow. Canada's bench thought that went in for sure. Don't think so.
Really looked off balance on it. All right. From this perspective, looked like it went right off the mask.
Helmet, exactly.
Up ahead for Stone. That ricochets in. Suzuki on the forecheck. Around it goes for Olimata. Up ahead, and the Finns work through center. Paulo had it knocked off his stick. Good back pressure by Marner. Now Lehkonen will fire it in. Thomas Harley there. Harley waits as Marchand comes over the boards. Bennett is on the move. Here's Sam Bennett in. Shot! Glove stopped by Saros. And Saros.
There's initial penalty was getting called to Bennett.
Bennett crashing the net as he's known to do. And Saros with a response with his glove. So let's take a look as Bennett crashes in. Penalties upcoming.
Well, the Panthers will walk together forever as back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, but 6 are walking in opposite directions today. 3 for Finland, 3 for Canada. The Panthers have the most players represented here of any NHL clubs. Sam Bennett was asked by Finnish television yesterday if he had any kind of message for the Panthers teammates on the Finland side. He just smiled and said, "I've got nothing for you." Well, perhaps a message just there with him and his Florida teammate Nico Mikkola coming together off the rush as Bennett off to the penalty box now, Chris.
Yeah, just Bennett. I wonder how many times Mikkola and Bennett crashed into Bobrovsky in practice together in Florida.
Yeah, Sam Bennett wants to be physical. He's been skating well in this game, but it wasn't an initial bump, but the follow through into Saros. A penalty that's going to be called every single time. So Finland back to another power play. Didn't get much going on their first. Got a second look at the first period.
Didn't have a shot on their first. Aho. Armia, Granlund. Heiskanen, Rantanen scores! Just like that. Mikko Rantanen 2 seconds in off a face-off win. And Finland has struck first.
Bo Horvat's out there for the face-off. And Aho draws it right back. Hagel can't get there. And I don't know if that catches Hagel's stick or if that is a knuckle puck thrown at Binnington, but Rantanen, who you mentioned, has got more goals against Jordan Binnington than any other NHL player with 15, chalks up an Olympic gold. And I do think that puck was not lying flat, so it was a bit of a knuckle throw, tough for Binnington to read, and the bad penalty results in the first goal for Finland.
Second of the tournament for Mikko Rantanen. He was the subject of a lot of discussion in Finland after the first game when he played just over 15 minutes. He did play 22:50 in the quarterfinal and is on the board. And as we mentioned, he's made a habit of scoring against Jordan Binnington.
It's a lot of time in the Central Division. Colorado and Dallas eventually, and that's a tough shot for Binnington. Happens really quick, tough to read, and a pretty good shooter firing it. Troubling part is Hagel couldn't get out to bother the shooter fast enough. He was so clean.
So a team that led in the Olympics in the NHL era for over 800 minutes until the game against Czechia finds themselves behind for the second consecutive game. They trailed for 21 minutes and 42 seconds in the uphill climb against Czechia. Connor McDavid doesn't want to wait that long this time. A hot shot turned aside, got it to Wilson, trying to slide it through for Celebrini, but Teuvo Teravainen's there. Up comes Taves, knocked away from Celebrini by Mikkola. Spinning is Ristolainen. And now Mikkola cross ice. Lundell will fire that in. Makar back. Suzuki checked, but taken back by Team Canada. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the opening period. Rantanen from Aho at 16:55. Suzuki spins it back to the line. Cale Makar with a move. Watched by Kakko. Won't go to Taves. Shooting, and that redirected wide. Capo Kakko just flips it to the Team Canada line, and Makar will move it quickly to Taves. On comes from MacKinnon. And Horvat down that left flank. Horvat worked over by Jokiharju. In behind the net, Jarvis checked on the play. Rantanen will turn it back with Lehkonen and Aho. It's Arturi Lehkonen in off the side of the cage. Harley turns, final minute here in the first. Trying to get even before the end of the period. As MacKinnon one-hands it across, trying to get it to Horvat. Jarvis in there after the puck. An outlet here, Rantanen stood up, and Team Canada able to hold it in off Horvat. Little board battle, Jarvis in the middle of it, and finally sent to center. Here's MacKinnon. Sanheim's come on. A backhand deep with under 30 seconds to go in the period. As MacKinnon goes to the bench, a little late there, and you can hear the Finns wanting another too many men. Doughty in the late stages, looking for MacKinnon off the end boards, but icing is called.
I'm not happy with Ryan Daisy, NHL linesman, thinking that McDavid was going to get to that first, and he probably was. But here's the other rush. McDavid, no looker, fires another one off the mask of Jussi Saros. And the point shot with traffic, McDavid off the rush. That has been what we have seen out of Canada in the first period.
Canada wins that.
Defense is quick
draw. Do you have time? Here's McDavid, one last shot, and Saros clubs that down, sends it away at the horn. Well, face-off's the story in that first period as Finland won 10 of 15, including the one that set up the lone goal. Power play for Rantanen at 16:55. Coming up, our first intermission. James and the gang coming up to break down what we've seen through 20.
Hey, what's going on there? I'm Ryan. I'm Seamus. And we're from Saskatoon band, the Sheepdogs. And we're very, very proud and thankful to have Team Canada using Feeling Good, our song, as their goal song. It's been extra special every single time that they've scored. And they've been doing that a lot, so that's great. Shout out to Cassie on the panel for noticing. So yeah, got my lucky Jofa bucket here for good luck, and we're wishing Team Canada both on and off the rink good luck over in Milano. And yeah, bring home the gold, guys. Absolutely. And now over to Campbell River's finest, Kyle Bukowskis.
Thank you to two of Saskatoon's finest, Ryan Gullen and Seamus Curry of the Sheepdogs. Feeling Good became Canada's goal song of the Four Nations. They have stuck with it here for the Olympics. We are awaiting the first time it is played in this semifinal tonight, Chris.
Thank you, former member of the Campbell River Tyes, Kyle Bukowskis. Get ready for the second period. Team Canada will start the same line that started the opening period. It's Bennett, Marchand, Hagel, with Parayko and Harley. A bit of history here that Team Canada will have to make in the NHL era. No team has recorded back-to-back comeback wins to advance to the gold medal game.
It seems daunting, but if you give Team Canada 50 minutes to play and score a couple goals, it doesn't seem like it's that unlikely. And some more John Cooper coaching. Offensive zone faceoff. Off comes Parayko. On comes Theodore. He is really working the bench in the semifinal.
Keeps Bennett on there to win the draw. It'll come across, and Theodore winds, and that will be cut down. That takes Lusterinen down, and Theodore winds again. Once again, that shot doesn't get to the net.
3 times for $1? Or more?
It may be, very well. No, it'll go across. It'll be Harley trying to go rink wide to Bennett. Early pressure here. Sam Bennett from the corner. He'll play it back off Marchand. Here's Theodore once again. Thomas Harley shooting, and he missed the target. Mikkola up with the puck. Along the boards, but not out. Kept in by Marchand. Drops it off. Comes back to Theodore. Third shot goes high. Around to the other side. Harley sends it in behind the net. Bennett hit there. Lundell with a backhand flip and gets it out. That's a strong opening shift for Team Canada. Neil Makar will wind it up. There's Makar ahead off Jarvis. Ricochet right to
goodness.
Lundell. Oh, a collision there.
Boy.
MacKinnon.
I think we need a whistle.
And hits. And both are very slow to get up.
That was a massive collision.
MacKinnon looks
dazed.
Both do, and he got up a little quicker than Hintz, but both are going to stay out, which is remarkable. MacKinnon's been left out in front of the net as this board battle continues, and now he'll kind of swoop back in as it's played around, kept in by Makar. And behind the net, Bo Horvat trying to center, can't get it to the stick of Jarvis. Sent to the line, not out. Taves blockered away by Saros. Granlund on it. And on the second try, he's able to get it to center. Back in they come. MacKinnon has stayed out. Daves will cycle it around. It reaches MacKinnon. Celebrini's in front. Here's MacKinnon sending it across for Makar. Dale Makar takes a look. Now McDavid has taken MacKinnon's spot. In behind the net. Unable to come up with that, but Wilson there. And back off the skate of Makar and out. So an early tilt to the ice here in the second period. Team Canada pushing for an early equalizer. Wilson unable to get that in front. Rantanen knocks it away. Thomas Harley coming right back in. Here's Harley shooting it wide. Wilson after it. Harley able to save it. Parayko across, and that shot by Celebrini wide of the net. Taken into the cage was Wilson. And so Binnington will leave the net for an extra attacker. Team Canada about to get their first power play of the game, unless McDavid can do something before that. Working in, and Aho will stop him to get the whistle. A lot happening in 3:03 of the second.
I mean, first off, Hintz and MacKinnon, the fact that they're both upright playing, this was a monstrous collision. Neither one sees the other, and you could hear it throughout the whole building. They just ran into each other. Fortunately, they both stay on the ice, and this good work from the first two lines draws the penalty to Sebastian Aho from Tom Wilson. So the power play for Canada, which has been a major weapon, 5 goals in the tournament, goes to work for the first time. No Crosby, so Celebrini taking his spot on the goal line.
Finn's 8 for 10 on the kill so far. 2 for 2 in the quarterfinal against Switzerland, and a quick clear here to start. Car ahead, McDavid to work. Right side for Reinhardt. Reinhardt checked, and it'll be flipped back by Armia. Maybe a break. Eric Holla, shorthanded, scores. First shot of the second period for Finland, and it's a short-handed goal.
And Holla gets the good fortune of this clearing attempt, catching Canadian in the chest. I think it might be Cale Makar. It would have gone down to the end for Jordan Binnington to play it. Sam Reinhart can't take this in deep. Turned over, and it's MacKinnon who tries to catch it. If he leaves it, it goes all the way down the ice, but he slows it down enough for Holla to skate in, and that's a tidy move. Backhand upstairs on Jordan Binnington, and a huge swing for Finland, now up 2 with the shorthanded goal.
You saw the reaction of Aho, and a different reaction from Doug Armstrong, and this power play becomes even more important now. Needing to get one to get within one.
Quick pull of the first group after giving up the goal.
Corner ahead off the stick of Stone. Out of the net is Saros. Stone will knock that down along the boards. Try and get it back into the corner for Horvat. It will come back to Marner. Marchand. Mitch Marner at the top of this power play. Shea Theodore down low. And now coming out in front, a chance, and that one denied. And Theodore's going to have to charge back and get that. Up ahead, Stone at the line. Fired deep by Theodore. Saros can't stop it up. Marchand after it. Flipped down by Horvat. Plays it to the near side, but Lindell was able to get there first, but not clear. Kept in at the line by Theodore. Marchand again from the corner. Trying to work it loose. A broken stick for Horvat. And another clear by Holla. So under a half minute remaining as the top unit comes back. Got to work quickly now. And slaloming in is McDavid. Here's Celebrini, and a blocker stopped by Saros. First shot on the power play. But a lethal shot the other way. We're 5 minutes into the second period, and Finland leads by 2 and are back at full strength. There's Makar working in. McDavid follows, looking for Celebrini. And there's not much space out there. McDavid knocked that down, but it slides back to center. Finland came back from 2 down against Switzerland in the late stages of the third period 2 days ago, and now Team Canada in a 2-goal hole.
Eric Holla, fourth line penalty kill energy guy, does all of that in one. Pouncing on the loose puck and a really good finish. Head up the whole way, nothing but time. Goes to the move early, and with that speed, beats Binnington to the far side.
Olimata's got it off a face-off win. Loved and held by Binnington.
And you think about moments where Sidney Crosby would be useful on the bench for Canada. Moments of stress, maybe moments of doubt, and haven't been many of those in the tournament, but it might be good for them right now. Could maybe slide a couple of those guys on. Would be bad with Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier in the building looking tense.
So the first 2-goal deficit of the tournament for Team Canada. Aho, another face-off win. Canada lost the face-off battle against Czechia, and they're behind in this game in that department. Comes across and played down deep. Rantanen leaned on by Parayko. Out comes Jarvis. Up ahead, Parayko. Big defenseman on the move. Scoops it in behind the net. And Saros sends it around. Jarvis is there. Off the ledge. And Horvat unable to pull that down. Out comes Finland. Aho and Lehkonen. Binnington around to steer that for Harley. He takes a hit from Lehkonen. It just felt like a great start to the second period.
And the wind has come out of the sails, though, after that short-handed goal. It's on Canada to ramp it back up.
It bounces in. After it goes Bennett, trying to get a hit on the forecheck, along with Wilson. So Wilson, Bennett, and Marchand together, which now an icing call, and you know what that means?
Yeah.
I think Team Canada about to go nuclear.
Never a doubt with the offense's own face-off as well. And it's a great option to have. I think you'd want to use it sparingly, but if you're going to go this route, feels like a lot, or virtually all of the offensive responsibility will fall to this line. And see Josh Morrissey, Darcy Kemper still up top. Sidney Crosby not in the stands there.
Morrissey skating with the group yesterday. Looks like he's close. Doughty puts it to the net, and that's absorbed by Saros with plenty of traffic in the area. So 6:44 into the second. A huge shorthanded goal for Eric Holla and the Finns.
Well, Mike just mentioned no Sidney Crosby in the crowd with the other scratches, but there are his parents, Troy and Trina. Now, Troy said he can be all of it as a hockey parent. When Sidney was growing up, nervous and quiet, he can be vocal. Can only imagine how nervous all of the hockey parents in the crowd here are of a game of this magnitude here tonight, maybe even more so when your son doesn't even have a chance to have a say in it, Chris.
As Sam Bennett was saying that, as a viewer, the last game, the Marchand's watching on, but he said sitting in the stands was the most stressful game he'd ever had to deal with.
It's been Brad Marchand on the breaks, doing a lot of talking to Canada's bench, trying to get them going, get them motivated. And maybe with Crosby not available, Marchand is stepping into that void.
Doughty, another guy that's been active in that department in the past. He had a very subtle quote about being down late against Czechia. He said, you know, as the clock was winding down, I realized it wasn't ideal. Out comes Makar again. Celebrini, MacKinnon, McDavid. Taves jumping up off the stick of Taves. McDavid last man back, and he comes up with the puck. Now he'll turn forward with Makar. Rink wide and gets past MacKinnon. Miro Heiskanen. And that's off Kakko to center. Heiskanen got the tying goal against Switzerland at 18:48 of the third period in the quarterfinal. That's the latest game-tying goal in the medal round in the Olympics in the NHL era. Sanheim for Doughty. Works to the red line, and Sanheim will send it deep. Stone, Marner, Suzuki, come on. Doesn't have to be the big boys.
Well, the thing is, they're all big boys. And I think you got to approach that mentality with it. Every guy on this team is a star player, a leading scorer, a guy who is expected to contribute every single game. So just because McDavid's on this team doesn't mean nobody else can do it.
We've seen Marner do it. Stone has done it. Suzuki in the last game as well. Here's Marner. Back to Parayko, and that last hit a skate. Saros have it. It was hard to track that puck.
Going up into the mesh.
Mikkola in front of the net, and it did go out of play.
Puck was a bouncer from Parayko. Catches Granlund, goes down into the ice, and then maybe big Mikkola in front. Saros, who can't see a thing. Oh, it's Stone's skate, actually, that boots it over the glass.
So the shot's 4-2 Canada here in the second. But 2 shots away is Bennett, Marchand, and Wilson. A crash line for John Cooper. Trying to get some energy back from the Team Canada unit. Here's Marchand in. Brad Marchand will curl back. Trying to spin away from his Florida teammate Mikkola. Mikkola stayed right on him. Aho out. And he'll roll it down. Around it goes and tipped in by Jokiharju. Pareko behind the net. Helped by Bennett. And now Harley through center. One on the right side, Marchand. Trying to get it through. Bennett was breaking and didn't get there cleanly. Harley's got it. Thomas Harley shooting. And Saros with a bobble, but able to hold on.
Just need a tip there. Harley dragging it. And he's got to decide, am I going to shoot to score or am I going to shoot for a tip? And he put that one in the middle of the net looking for a deflection on a offensive thrust in the zone, as this is an all-star team for Canada. Every single one of the guys. And they all expect great things from themselves. It's got to bring it out against a very tough defensive opponent.
Trying to crack the Finnish code here as McDavid celebrating and MacKinnon check back in. And off the draw, McDavid on it. In behind the net, knocked off stride, but able to get it back to Theodore. Sanheim. MacKinnon along the board, Celebrini, and he healed that, and it was a change up on Saros.
Celebrini really working to try to find quiet ice in the offensive zone. It's hard to do. Even MacKinnon bounces it out there. Lindell closes quickly and gets a piece of the shot. It is going to be difficult to get Finland running around. They're very organized. They might beat a guy, but they don't beat themselves.
It's on this face-off, and from the draw, Teravainen on it. Teravainen with Chicago, and with him in the Finnish lineup in the medal round, every NHL team is represented in the Final Four. Theodore around to Celebrini, trying to spring MacKinnon. Here's MacKinnon at center. Celebrini will gain the zone, trying to barge through. A lot of traffic, but stayed on it. Now slides to McDavid. In behind MacKinnon. Celebrini looks for it. Sharp angle up high on Saros.
The third one that's caught him in the helmet in this game.
David will bring it back in with Celebrini. Looks rinked wide, and now Reinhardt on the ice. There's a guy that Team Canada would like to get going. McDavid, Jarvis, first shot unable to get through, maybe another, and that's stopped by Saros. Jarvis in front, and Granlund picks that off, and will flip it away. Knocked down by Taves, up ahead to Reinhardt. Knocked off his stick by Lindell. Armia battles for it. Jarvis played it back in, but Horvat was inside the line, offside. So, past the midway mark of this second period, Sebastian Aho celebrates a short-handed goal. Concern in the Team Canada camp.
A look at the Canadian bench. Nervous times. Everybody watching coast to coast. John Cooper had stressed it's never going to be easy, especially against a team like Finland. They are always around when it comes to deeper in the medal round. As Mark McMorris, three-time bronze medalist, this was not the Winter Olympics for him, but still competed in the snowboard slopestyle. He, like everybody else, nervous times for Canadians. Chris?
You mentioned everybody watching from coast to coast. Like to say hi to all the schools that get a chance to watch these games during school hours. Reminds me of 72 Team Canada and the Soviet Union, and a special shout out to Silver Creek Public School in Halton Hills. But we know you're watching coast to coast to coast. That one high off the glass, pulled down by Stone. A loose puck for Lusterinen to work ahead. Need some of that youthful energy right now, Mike Johnson.
Turns some pucks over, gets some speed, some possession, draw some penalties.
Suzuki charged in there, looked to get it to Marner. It'll be kept in at the line by Makar. Around it comes Suzuki in behind the net. Centered, and Mikkola was there to knock that away. Out at center where Taves tied up. Haula climbs over the boards. That goal by Eric Haula, a big one here early in the second. Suzuki had it knocked off his stick. Boy, it's suffocating out there as the Finns are on the puck in a hurry every time. Neil McCarr slowly out. Celebrini runs his route. Just missed getting a pass from McDavid and has to go back to get it. Celebrini with a pair of slot shots in the opening period. Here's MacKinnon. He'll work his way in. MacKinnon swings wide, and Saros stops that.
You said it. It is just tough sledding through the neutral zone and to attack with speed. Nathan MacKinnon takes a puck back. He's dancing, but as dangerous he feels, he's by himself, and he's trying to get around 4 or 5 guys. He gets a shot and a whistle, which is a positive, but not much danger there for UC Saros to make a save. Now you got to win a face-off and play in the offensive zone a little bit.
Off the draw. McDavid along the boards. MacKinnon fired off the end boards, charging after it. Harley played past him and out, and they'll have to regroup back inside their own line. 7:40 left. Second period. Macklin Celebrini slicing through. His shot. Saros fights that off.
Helmet again.
Is that 3-4 times? Here's MacKinnon trying to go in front. And Granlund intercepted that, intended for Harley. But now Granlund back the other way. Trying to work his way to the side of the net and cut off and the pass. Now a lead feed, that broken up, but now they get the puck back and it's Theodore in. Wraps it around, Celebrini end of a shift. Team Canada making changes. Wilson got a stick on it. Celebrini couldn't get loose. He's at the end of a shift and dog tired. Sam Bennett comes on. Takes his own pass off the boards and Bennett goes to work. A chip and chase for Bennett in the corner. Mikkola there. Bennett ties him up. Wilson along the boards. Gets it back to the line. Doughty in deep and around, and Marchand after it. It'll be Sanheim to the near side, back for Doughty. Listorina there. Wilson took a whack at it, but it's Lundell back for Finland. Here's Anton Lundell, and he got tied up by Sanheim, and we're going to get a penalty.
Lundell got Marchand with a high stick. That was the initial call, and Brad Marchand's doing everything in his power to force a little blood out of his mouth. Sanheim came back with a push. They're not going to call the extra cross-check. It's just going to be Lundell for the high stick down in the corner on his Florida teammate, Brad Marchand. Right there, just scraped it right across his chin. And it was the last power play where Canada was thinking they had a chance to tie the game. They gave up a short-handed goal, which has changed the complexion of this game entirely. And the mask of UC Saros is going to need to do a paint job. And time and again, they've gone upstairs trying to find space on the shorter Saros, only to clip him in the head. So here they go onto the power play. Really want to execute this time.
First power play and one of the Finns' best penalty killers in the box. That's the same for the second, looking for a different result. And it starts with a face-off win by MacKinnon. McCarr to McDavid. Down low it goes. Celebrini across. And MacKinnon had to bobble that and now puts it back towards McDavid. Armia on the kill. Out there along with Hollop, who has the shorthanded goal. Back to McCarr. There's Nathan MacKinnon. Cale Makar shooting, and that deflects into the corner. McDavid reloads for Makar. Back to McDavid. Downhill. In front, and it's a Celebrini pass that didn't work, but Makar able to hold the zone. McDavid again. Cale Makar shooting, scores! Power play goal was it Reinhart with a tip in front. Sam Reinhart's on the board. Team Canada on the board, 2-1.
They needed that. He needed that. Sam Reinhart has had a difficult tournament at times so far. Down in front, Makar leans on it and it catches. Oh, is that a no-looker? Did he even mean to hit that on the wrong side of the pile? head twisting out of the way. He catches maybe a break off his blade back the other way, similar to Suzuki. And Canada back within one on the power play.
Connor McDavid gets an assist. The secondary assist, Makar on the power play goal by Reinhart, who did not score at Four Nations and now has his first goal at the Olympic Games. So that changes the complexion of things as the Brain Trust celebrates.
Breaking news that is breaking. Val Malte just grabbed bronze for Canada in what was a thrilling long track 1,500-meter race. This is her third medal at these games alone. She's on fire. Basically, whatever she's eating, we want some. Hats off to Val. Incredible. Look at her reaction. Yeah, you did that. 5 career medals for Val. Here's Chris and Mike. Back to hockey.
That's awesome. So maybe the momentum turning here for Team Canada.
I think, Chris, to get back within one before the end of the second just makes it feel so much more doable. Now, Finland's not going to panic. They're not going to get running around. They're poised. They're organized. They won't change. But for Canada, maybe a surge of energy and a strong push to finish the second period after Cale Makar leans on this one. I'm not sure if he was shooting for a tip. I'm not sure if Reinhart sort of spotted that puck as it was coming towards him, but regardless, a massive goal for Canada, who executes on the power play again.
12th point of the tournament for McDavid. That is a record in an NHL Olympic era tournament. 4 consecutive multi-point games coming in. Could use another multi-point game here today. But they are on the board and going to work again. Shots here are 11-2 in favor of Team Canada in the second period. 5 minutes to go as Marner tries to chop it in. At the line, Renton forced it out. And now sent the length of the ice by MacKinnen. An icing call against the Finns.
So McDavid has been supernova great in this tournament. Even by his best in the world standards, it's been impressive, and the points have been a reflection of his excellence. Everything is running through him, and it's a luxury for Canada. They got the best player in the world playing as well as maybe he ever has.
Team Canada's outscored their opponents 10-2 in the second period of this tournament. Here's Makar looking for a shooting lane and then played it back across the flow into the corner. Jarvis after it to Rantanen. Rolls it down. Is that going to be icing? No, they wave it as Taves back for Makar. Aho checked him, trying to set up Teravainen. Across it goes. Yoki Harju a shot wide. They look for a deflection off the stick of Lehkonen. Binnington out to play it, but he'll leave it for Taves. Taves tied up by Teravainen. Makar in to help out. Hasn't been much action at this end of the ice. As mentioned, 2 shots, one on the shorthanded breakaway. An alley-oop in center. Onto it, Horvat, and unable to get loose. Quick change by Team Canada. Rupe hits to work. Along with Granlund, sidesteps Taves and shot it high. And that deflects over the glass and out of play.
And you can see the way Finland was playing up until that goal was defend, defend, defend. The chances they're looking for are just a mistake, a turnover, and go the other way. And this is the first sort of sequence into the offensive zone in the context of the flow of play. Just looking for the mistake rush chances provided by Canada.
Second period for the Finns, 4 goals for, 3 against in the tournament. 19 goals coming in the first 4 games, but 11 of those came in 1 game against Italy. Doughty around. MacKinnon off his stick deflects to center. 3:33 left here in the second. And Dumped back in where Binnington will hand it off to Sanheim. McDavid, MacKinnon, Celebrini back together. Here they come with Doughty. Doughty in deep. Up against Heiskanen. And bounce back out by the Finns. Parayko drives it in. Bennett, Wilson, and Marchand. Knocked down. Wilson's got it. Back door, and that one ricocheted off. Heiskanen in front with Bennett at the back post. Aho's in. Slowed up by Parayko. Bennett twists away. Up to Marchand. Out they come. On the move is Thomas Harley. Harley put it to the net, but Saros able to keep it away from the front of the goal.
Don't mind that if you can get a clean pass to the defenseman activating.
Now Holla, left wing pass. Too far for Kiviranta. That's an icing call. Should mention, Mike, that the 13th forward for Finland, I don't believe, has seen the ice. It has yet to in the tournament. Montreal's outstanding rookie, Oliver Kapanen.
Tough to jump into this game mid-sequence now. That was Tom Wilson trying to fire one off the shin pads of Sam Bennett. And it does rattle around the bodies before going out the weak side. And the last goal started with a MacKinnon face-off win on this side, albeit on the power play. Can he get another one?
Out against Holla, who wins it for the Finns. And they're able to break out. The long pass for Holla back into Team Canada territory. So Kiviranta run out, and away goes MacKinnon. Celebrini. In flight is McDavid. Trying to cut in. Swung it across. Makara jumped up, but the Finns got back.
I'm not sure if you wanted Joki Harju and Mata out against this line in this situation with just a minute left in the period.
There's a loose puck knocked off the stick of Hintz. Team Canada trying to break out. MacKinnon gets on it. Here's MacKinnon. First pass denied. Celebrini gets it in. Fires it around. Saros can't stop it. McDavid! And Saros just got back in the nick of time. Around for Theodore. In behind. Suzuki crashing in. Stone trying to feed the point. Teravainen broke that up. And now Joki Harju, 80 seconds left in the second period. Granlund at center, unable to corral that. Stone and Suzuki bring it back in. Marner let it go. Sanheim plays it back for Marner. Here's Mitch Marner cycling it back behind the net. Mata for Hintz. And a backhand flip away. And they're going to call that icing.
It was a friendly,
yes, it was,
intentionally poor pivot by Shea Theodore. And McDavid, how about that look right there? McDavid on the bench, sees the icing, and he gives the over-the-shoulder look to John Cooper like, I'm ready. And of course, he goes right back out there for another offensive zone start in the last minute.
Canada's won 15 of 35 in the game now after that Finnish face-off victory.
It's quick math. That's 70-30 in favor of.
There's a stretch to Celebrini. Almost knocked out, but he's able to get it in deep. 40 seconds to go, and once again the Finns clear. Is that going to have enough? The teams with that
it's an art form.
Quicksand stride.
It's an art form. Slow it down just enough, and it's probably a smart idea by John Cooper because that first line had just come off the ice, went back out there, had a 20-second burst. Now another chance for somebody else in the offensive zone.
Suzuki, and they'll do it again as
got in there early.
Like he had a face-off win. Up against Anton Lundell. And off the draw, Suzuki sent sprawling. Picked up by the Finns, up off Kako. Here's Lundell. And that slides to Binnington, and he decides to vacuum it up at the last second.
A little poke from Lundell. It's been a very quiet period, as you mentioned. Not a lot of shots. That'll count as one of them against Jordan Binnington. But unfortunately, one of the first ones he faced was the breakaway. But much like the shorthanded goal swung things heavily in Finland's favor, that power play goal for Canada, if they get out of this period at 2-1, will tell themselves that if we play the third period like the second, outshoot Finland 14-3, it's a good chance we at least tie this game.
They had to deal with adversity 2 days ago, and more of it here as they try and grind out a spot in the gold medal game. Flipped ahead the alley-oop. Marchand has the puck, blows the tire inside the line. Redmond doesn't clear. That fired wide. Final seconds of the period. Bennett along the boards. There's Wilson with a hit on Lindell. Rantanen hit by Bennett. Will leave an impression at the end of the second period. So the Finns led 1-0 after one. They lead by one after 2 periods of play. A shocking short-handed goal made it 2-0 off the stick of Eric Holla. But Team Canada does get on the board late in the period. The shot's 14-3. A power play goal for Sam Reinhart. An assist from McCarr and McDavid. There's a look at the tip that had them celebrating in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia.
Delivery of the game presented by Instacart, the winning way to get groceries delivered. Sam Reinhart had the cup-clinching goal 2 seasons ago, Game 7 against the Oilers. He had 4 goals in that cup-clinching game versus Edmonton last season. The big goal for Canada in the second to bring the deficit back to 1. So all those things considered the last 2 years, who would have thought a Reinhart goal would elicit such joy from the McDavid family watching on here, cheering on Team Canada. International hockey throws everything else to the side. Canada must throw everything else to the side from the previous 2 periods, trailing by a goal. The gold medal game on the line. Chris.
1-year anniversary of the Four Nations final. Team Canada trailed the United States 2-1 in that game to tie and win in overtime. Sam Bennett got the tying goal, and he will face off to start the third period. Mike, we haven't had an even straight goal this game. Teams have traded power play goals, and that short-handed goal by Eric Holland's the difference so far. Bounce down inside the Finnish blue line. Anton Lundell along with Lusterinen and Kakko out there for the Finns. Fired around where Carley looks for it for Team Canada. Marchand, Bennett, Wilson. Which means they're sticking with celebrating MacKinnon and McDavid. Here comes Thomas Harley in. Working wide. Round to the far side for Marchand. Try and center that. It hit a skate, went high in the air, and sent back out by Ristolainen. Second line comes out, and it's Suzuki, Marner, and Stone. Suzuki stumbled in the corner, but Stone finds it. Back to Taves. He's shot, fronted by Lindell. And now lead feed, and here's Rupe hits over the line with Granlund. That goes off Taves wide of the net. McCarr ties up Hintz. Stone trying to come away with the puck, but it's Granlund. Back for Heiskanen. And McCarr now up the boards, and Teravainen was there for Finland. McCarr's going to try it one more time. The other side it goes. Suzuki off the boards and out to center. Aho was jumping before the change started until he was anxious to get out there. And now Joki Harju ahead. Deflected off the stick of Lehkonen. There's Aho after.
There you go.
It'll come around, and here's a break. Celebrating McDavid. Catching up on the plays is MacKinnon, but they can't barge through. Celebrating plays it behind the net. He has 6 shots through 2 periods and leads Team Canada in just about every offensive category. Chance the other way, and Lehkonen just missed. Don't want to give Arturi Lehkonen, with his history of big game goals, then he looks like that. Back comes MacKinnon, cuts inside with McDavid, but lost possession of the puck. Ristolainen along the boards. Armia pinned by Celebrini, but worked ahead by Kiviranta. Drew Doughty back in his own zone. Ridden to the boards. Hall is there. McDavid pried it loose. And now Harley. Celebrini. McDavid's gone to the bench, and Celebrini will too after dumping it in. Bo Horvat on the forecheck. And it's played back inside the Team Canada line. Horvat with Hagel and Jarvis. Stolen here by Kakko. Sends it across the front of the Team Canada net. A chance here, and that whipped wide. Miro Heiskanen. Off the stick of Harley. Kakko there for Finland. Taves trying to work it loose. Hagel along the boards. They'll tie it up, and Harley worked it loose. Seth Jarvis stumbles. Able to work it ahead, and here's Horvat. Horvat back to Jarvis. Too far for him. Seth Jarvis is in. Back it goes Makar, and he's checked by Aho. Makar gets it back. In behind the net it goes. Hagel battling. Tuck in skates. And Esa Lindell finds it. Here's Lindell.
How's that strength? If Sanheim, a piggyback ride, could not knock him off the puck.
He played over 25 minutes in the quarterfinal against Switzerland. And you can expect heavy minutes for Lindell and Heiskanen down the stretch here. Around it goes. Then kept in by Doughty. Kick back to Theodore. Shooting. That went wide. Side of the net, Suzuki. Stone going after it. Now it's Marner. Here's Mitch Marner. Curling in the finish zone and handing it off for Stone. Mark Stone's walked the line. And across. Theodore fakes and couldn't get it to the net. That was broken up by Aho. So difficult to get pucks through against to UC Saros. Here comes MacKinnon. McDavid winds it up. Swings wide. Works his way in. Fires that. Hit a leg. McDavid gets it back. Gives it back. Celebrini with the shot right on. There's the 7th shot for the 19-year-old. Looking for an equalizer.
He doesn't like his accuracy on that attempt. Good high roll exchange with McDavid, who, when he winds up, if he gets it with a gap, it is a zone entry no matter what happens. That was after perhaps the important save. You start thinking about Binnington in Canada. They can't afford any goals against the way Finland is defending at this point.
There's MacKinnon snapping that face-off win back. Makar's shot hit the traffic in front. And Taves will go back to get it. To double the shots on goal so far, 23-11. Celebrini wrapped it around. Saros unable to stop that. Maybe a chance here, MacKinnon. And he looked for Taves, and it hit a leg.
Shoot that thing if you're Nate MacKinnon. I mean, take the far post if you can. It's just so hard to make those passes in tight with all the bodies and sticks back in front of the net.
Back in they come. Wilson to pass. Marchand in, and it knocked off his stick. Heiskanen had the stick knocked out of his hands on that contact. And now Lindell's in. It's on Lindell and Binnington. Big stop there. Keeping it a one-goal game. Wilson back with Marchand over the line. Wilson rides to the net. And a centering pass for Bennett doesn't work. A rare moment of opening it up on both sides. Sanheim has the puck past 6 minutes of the third. Stumbling Marchand can't get it deep. Yoki Harju comes back. Sends that in behind the net. Armia after it. Wilson runs over Kiviranta, and away goes Hagel. Hagel with 3, Finn's back. Hagel with a backhand short side. Saros holds on to that. So an offensive zone face-off at the other end. A clutch stop by Binnington off Lindell.
Arturi Lehkonen, known as a big game goal scorer, twice in his career he has scored an overtime goal to send his team to the Stanley Cup final, first with Montreal, then Colorado the next year. And in the quarterfinals, it was Lehkonen in overtime after the furious comeback to knock off Switzerland to book their ticket here. Sebastian Aho says he's long admired all the details that Lehkonen has in his game, but of course, the ability to deliver when it really matters as well, as Canada will try to not allow Lehkonen to have any say in the outcome of this semifinal, Chris.
Yeah, goals in the last two. What else is new? A big goal from Arturi Lehkonen to get them to this game. So, Mike, we played 6.5 minutes of the third. There have been 3 shots on goal, 2 for Canada, and that Lundell chance for Finland. MacKinnon winning another draw. Makar at the line. In and around behind the net. MacKinnon goes after it. Ristolainen trying to get away from MacKinnon to McDavid. It's a tough task. It's Taves across. Cale Makar working against Lehkonen, sending it in front off Saros, and back the other way, the Finns. Lehkonen ahead, and Taves got a stick on that. Left down by Celebrini. Looks for McDavid, chopped off his stick by Rantanen. Can't get it wound up here against the stingy Finns. Aho works in, changing behind him, and comes to the near side for Celebrini. Send it to the line, but Heiskanen there. Back into the corner where Taves. Sanheim around. Here's Hagel. Celebrini's still out. Now he'll turn back and finish the change. Along the boards, Horvat with Hagel. Brandon Hagel. Theodore moving that traffic in front. Sanheim moves up. Bumped there by Granlund. Reinhardt able to knock it off the stick of Teravainen. Horvat fencing with Lundell. Hagel after it again. Reinhardt slowed that up. Sanheim sends it in. Here's Horvat. Trying to put Finland into the grinder. It'll be Theodore at the line. Teravainen on him, but a glove stop as Saros comes out to catch that.
And not bad for Canada. A little bit more zone time. Trying to wear down Finland. MacKinnen, Celebrini, you mentioned now, what was 7 shots on net. So dangerous in front. Can't quite corral that with the attention that he's getting from everyone on Finland. And part of the conversation for Canada is if you're going to have the puck in the offensive zone, even if you're not generating chances, you can try to tax the defense and draw a penalty. And that's part of the game plan when you have territorial advantage but having a hard time getting grade A chances. Draw a penalty, get the power play back on the ice.
Nick Suzuki tied it 2 days ago at 16:33 of the third. Back out there with Stone and Marner. And off the draw, Kakko had it. And Marner able to disrupt the clearing attempt. Ristolainen off the boards, and now they will roll back into the Team Canada zone. Thomas Harley, the former Vaughan King, will lead them out. Up ahead it goes. Nice play here. Suzuki's in. Marner shooting. A rebound left in front. Knocked away from Suzuki. So a rush chance there for Team Canada. Marner lost it to Kakko. Kakko working in and sent it wide. Harley up off the skate of Suzuki. Not out. Bouncing puck, and now Harley will take over. Here comes Marner in. Scored the game winner 1-on-3. It feels like they're 1-on-3 most of the night here against this Finnish defense. Loose puck here. Taves pounds that right off. It'll come back to Stone. And a chance for Harley, and he sent that wide. And that puck cleared past Harley and down. What was the story? John Cooper telling them, it's coming. It's coming. And it feels like it might be.
They follow up a shift with another good shift. Crowd gets engaged. Top line hops over. Nick Suzuki with a dash to cue up this one-timer by Mitch Marner. And a good save by Saros. And another one-timer, but look how square and early Saros is in the spot. Be really good to win this face-off. You have a tired group of defenders. Take advantage.
He should mention, biggest contingent of Team Canada fans at the Santa Julia in this tournament here. McDavid put that in front and broke it up by Teravainen.
Set play, trying to get Taves on the back door.
Back in comes Makar. Big shot wide. Celebrini there. Rick wide, MacKinnon. Sent that across. Redmond stopped it up. Maybe a chance in front. And just went wide. Celebrini with another slot look. Back the other way. Here's Heiskanen cruising in. Heiskanen sharp angle. Back to the inboards by Binnington. Makar back. Binnington helping out. And it's McDavid. Past 10 minutes of the third. 97 to Brad Marchand. McDavid staying out there. Marchand to the net. And Saros has to make a tough stop on Brad Marchand. Well, the veteran looking to be the hero here and getting a chance in tight.
Still to come tonight from Santa Julia, the other semifinal in this men's tournament, the favored Team USA against the plucky darlings Team Slovakia. 3:10 Eastern, 12:10 Pacific on Sportsnet, and CBC Gem is where it will start. John Cooper continuing to provide positive messaging to his players. Connor McDavid admitted at some point in that Czechia game, the whole tournament flashed before his eyes. We are starting to enter that territory again. Less than 10 minutes to go in the third, and Canada trailing by a goal, Chris.
And Canada needing a hero right now.
A lot of guys out there who've had some big moments in the NHL, in the Four Nations. Need one here.
Shots 10-4 now in the third. Bennett, Marchand, tapping his stick. Wilson poised at the top of the circle. Theodore and Sanheim. And off the draw, it's one back. Here's Shea Theodore. Across Sanheim, right on. Saros well out of the net there. Marchand kicks it around to Wilson. There's Wilson firing, that doesn't get through. Theodore gives it back. Wilson tries to send it across. It'll come to Sanheim. Here's a score! Shea Theodore! Game tie!
A lot of activity in front of UC Saros. A lot of bodies, a lot of sticks, and a lot of conversations on the Finnish bench about whether this one we reviewed. Sanheim sticks in. It's Holland pushing him on Saros. See the danger here as Theodore tees that one up off the shoulder and in. Saros doesn't like it. The question just becomes, it's goal interference, but Hall is shoving him on the back of his leg. I don't think you can risk challenging this at all.
Yeah, you'd have to give up the chance of being shorthanded.
No chance with that being the outcome. Nathan MacKinnon saying, let's go, drop the puck. What are we waiting for?
Inside, Shea Theodore, the hero Canada was looking for. At least to get this back on even terms. They've erased a 2-0 deficit. Makar and Sanheim get the assists. Just checking to see if that'll be right. That'll be 3 defensemen in the same play. Here comes Colton Parayko, firing it in. Following up, it's Celebrini, and that one hopped over the stick. A hot pass to McDavid. Out there with MacKinnon and Celebrini. Canada looking for its first lead of the game. So 10:34 is the time of the goal. And this pro-Canadian crowd, the loudest they've been. That's an icing call against Team Canada.
Finland was trying to defend, and eventually Canada got a couple bounces there. Shots that were blocked that bounced back to Canada. And the last one eventually kicks over right here from Sanheim to Theodore off a clear, and he put it right in the wheelhouse. And that line, Bennett, Marchand, Wilson, all over the front of the net. Gray area stuff around the crease. Ends up with a puck behind UC Saros.
Well, McCarr wasn't on the ice. It's either Wilson or maybe Bennett. The confusion there on the assist. None of that matters right now. Yogi Harju across. Here's the shot, and that fronted. Looked like it hit Harley. And Stone to the line, and it works its way out. Jay Theodore, who was injured in the first period of the first game of Four Nations, a broken wrist against Sweden. What a feeling for him to come back here and score one of the biggest goals so far in the tournament.
This has been the rowdiest Canadian crowd we've had so far in the tournament. And Shea Theodore, all the lefties on defense, that's an advantage. That one time, because he's on his offside, crept in because of all the traffic and was basically tops of the circle for a one-timer. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Sanheim and Wilson now, we believe, the assists on the goal.
Seems a little bit more accurate.
8 minutes left, third period. Around it goes, and out at center, Capo Caco. Rigged wide, off the stick of Listerinen. Goes after it after a slight delayed offside. Sanheim off the boards. That went by Heiskanen. Jarvis trying to beat out icing, but it is an icing call against Team Canada.
Canada's got to keep playing smartly. Can't be over-aggressive, give up a quick 2-on-1 out of nothing, because Finland has basically been parking the bus for the better part of 35 minutes.
So as Elliott suggested, maybe there's Lindell a shot, that's knocked down in front. The adversity of 2 days ago would have helped calm the nerves a little bit. Shot to the net after an offside call.
Yeah, you could say that. I'm not going to act like it's not nervy down here when they're trailing 2-1 with 9 minutes left. And the time ticking away quickly on the clock, it seemed.
Not full panic mode, though.
Not yet.
Or you can tell me it might have been different down there.
I mean, I was around the bench. It felt pretty tense, but they found a way again a little bit earlier, and now maybe time to keep pushing, so try to get it done before overtime.
Well, the shot's now 31-14. Here's a loose puck in front, just out of the reach of Celebrini. And Finland will skitter that down the ice, and it is icing. Another face-off in the Finnish zone.
If that could have just been an area pass instead of a tape-to-taper. Connor McDavid jumps on the loose puck. He's going to try to snap it. If he just lays it out there, then Celebrini can walk in and shovel us one in the far side, but just a little too hot off the tip of the stick of Celebrini.
And now Mike Canada's been better in the third period. In the face-off circle, they've won 8 of 11.
Helps when you don't have to chase it to start.
And this one, McDavid almost a winger win, but Finland gets it out. Teravainen from the red line shoots it into Team Canada ice. Cale Makar tied up there by Granlund. Worked loose for Celebrini, lost it, and a big stop, hitting good off Sebastian Aho. Around it comes to the other side. And it's Taves in an outlet, and MacKinnon to the gallop. Here's Nathan MacKinnon trying to charge in with McDavid. Pumped along the boards by Ristolainen. McDavid again. MacKinnon in front. Celebrini sent it wide. Up is Harley, played past him by Aho and out.
Celebrini just can't get a clean pass. They're all on his skates, all just out of his reach.
And now that pass intended for Celebrini too far. He'll peel back and slap the boards in front of you.
That's him banging the boards on the way to the bench.
Just not quite where he wanted that puck a couple of times on that last shift. A pile up there, play called. You get the feeling, though, Macklin Celebrini might be involved before this one's done.
He's all around it, as was Sebastian Aho. Celebrini took the puck to middle of the ice, turned it over, and again, Binnington, who hasn't had much to do, he's got to come up with that as a game saver on Aho, and it's a good one with the blocker. And Here's the other one, Celebrini. Still stays with it, but as he's falling down, he can't hook it back towards the net. And here's the line that tied it up for Canada.
Bennett to take the draw. Marchand and Wilson. Quite a combination. Now, from the face-off, Finland will send it in off Kakko's stick. There's Theodore. Wilson up the boards, and Bennett's got room. Here comes the Conn Smythe Trophy winner in the zone along with Marchand. Off the boards, and he got checked there, and it comes to Heiskanen. Out there with Olli Mata. Heiskanen will play most of the rest of this game, you'd think. That one knocked down at the line. Travis Sanheim with the aerial. Wilson trying to skate onto that. And it's knocked into the Finnish bench. Hope you're enjoying it, whether you're watching on CBC Sportsnet, TSN, or listening across the CBC radio network. It's another nail-biter here in Santa Julia. Canadian fans reveling in the comeback here. It's got them back on even terms. And as we mentioned, Mike, it looked like Team Canada fans were waiting for the medal round to show up in big numbers.
You don't want to be presumptuous, but maybe they planned their trips over here for the final weekend. They're out full force now.
In fact, John Cooper had to tell his team early on, with the opposing fans being outnumbering them, that they had to embrace the silence. Here's Makar right on. It sticks to Saros. And another face-off in the Finnish zone. They're not going to embrace any silence here in this one.
So this is a set rotation. Makar drags it, kicks it to McDavid. Taves activates and then stays. Almost getting a tip on that one. Teravainen is not used to covering a defenseman down there. Little rotation off a face-off play.
Vince wins the draw if the Finns clear. It's code red every time this line's out. McDavid, MacKinnon, Celebrini. And Ristolainen with a strong defensive play to take it away from McDavid. Spun in by Granlund. Teravainen. Now MacKinnon back to Makar. Up for McDavid at center. Celebrini's on the move. He'll curl inside the line. Wait for help. McKinnon's there. In behind the net. Centering pass. And Celebrini was tied up in front. That comes to the line. And McDavid for Harley. Quick change. Harley comes back in. Celebrini's still there. In deep, but it gets by Harley, but Mark Stone takes over. Parayko back to Stone. Into the middle. He'll spin for Marner off the bench. Marner's in. Big stop, Saros. And knocked out in front was Suzuki. They'll play on. Kind of blocked. How did Suzuki just get body checked or tackled?
It's a pretty good tie-up in front of the net at this time of the game. Sort of falling, sort of reaching, sort of getting tied up.
Marner looked like he was ready to be a hero for a second straight game.
He was. He came flying off the bench, late for Celebrini, and he's walking in, and he's got the hands and the lateral movement to start dancing. Walks, MacKinnen takes it to his forehand. Oh, Saros just gets a toe on it. Another 3 inches up, and this one's probably the back of the net. Oh, it's so close. And is he... Pretty good battle by Heiskanen with his stick on the ice.
You're right, good call. Heiskanen just knocking Suzuki down and preventing a rebound chance. I'm surprised at all we've seen as much of this Bennett, Wilson, Marchand line. I mean, they've earned it, but I don't know if anybody expected they'd get such a regular turn. A puck out of play.
No, but you go with what's working. And it's been working. This is Brad Marchand's best game by a country mile in this tournament. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised as it's gotten down to the wire. Sam Bennett also, after a tough penalty early, has been good. They've been getting the puck in the offensive zone. That's what Canada's looking for. know that the Marchand family are very emotive when they watch the game, which is great.
First 2 games for Marchand in the tournament, both against Czechia. He's played just over 10 minutes so far in this game. Played an important role, but here's a face-off win for the Finns. Under 4 minutes to go, and that'll get absorbed by Jordan Binnington. Almost in next goal wins territory.
Interesting how quickly they face off in the defensive zone on the right side. They put out MacKinnon. Face off defensive zone on the left side. They're going with Bennett, one of their strongest guys to take these important D-zone face-offs.
Well, this was Mark Messier time, wasn't it? The original Moose. Not the Moose who scored for Finland earlier in this game. That one kicked loose.
Oh, that's not
that
offside.
was not offside.
That's not offside.
And Tom Wilson is letting them know that was a quick call that might negate a chance called by Albert Ankersjörny of Denmark. And Team Canada would like to have a word.
Nothing you can do about it now. The fact that he's a non-NHL linesman probably doesn't help the case.
Three and a half left. Saros to play that. Oh, Heiskanen, who had a game-tying goal 2 days ago with just over a minute remaining. Forced overtime, and Arturi Lehkonen took care of business in the extra session against Switzerland. Bennett swings wide, took a hit from a sharp angle. Not a bad idea.
That's okay, though.
Pucks to the net.
Put it on the net. Got a face-off. Let John Cooper do what he wants with the offensive zone draw. We know what he wants to do. And he's calling out plays, John Cooper, on the bench with Taves and Makar, his #1 unit. Always a good idea to get Makar and Taves out there to service MacKinnon as much as they can. And even on his wrong side, Nathan MacKinnon's going to take the draw.
As the tournament provided enough drama. Lundell MacKinnon. And the Finns control off the faceoff. But it's kept in at the line by Makar. Around it to the other side, Taves. He'll cycle it around to McDavid. Wearing the C here in place of the absent Sidney Crosby. Taves at the line. Cale Makar. Back across, that glances off MacKinnon, but Celebrini's got it. Back with Celebrini off the boards. In front, backhand! And it's stopped by Saros with MacKinnon in tight. High stick on MacKinnon, and they do get the call. It came a little late, but Team Canada gets a power play with 2:35 to go.
You wonder if Canada takes their time out just to rest the first unit guys. After this great chance for Nathan MacKinnon right in front. Mikkola picks up a high stick on MacKinnon. Celebrini walks the seam. If you can go underneath the forward right here, things will open up. And he gets it to MacKinnon. Good save by Saros with the blocker as the play continues. Another one so close. Mikkola gets a stick up on Nathan MacKinnon and draws the penalty. There it is. Yeah, it's in the face. Nothing wrong with that. So I wonder then, Chris, they didn't take a timeout there. If they get a whistle a minute into this power play, do they save it so they can rest them to play the full 2 minutes?
Sam Reinhart has the power play goal, and he's out there with the A unit. A face-off win by MacKinnon. He'll kick it back. Here's Reinhart. Saros the stop. A rebound. Knocked wide of the net. You see Saros now with 35 saves. That's his tournament high after stopping 34 against Sweden. McCarr to MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon fired. Gets it back again. Was looking for McCarr, but holds on to the puck. Watched by Lundell. Rink wide, McDavid. Cale McCarr didn't get all of that. MacKinnon after it, able to keep it alive. Celebrini, under 2 minutes to go. Team Canada looking for a go-ahead goal. MacKinnon. Cale McCarr, midpoint and across. 97's got it. Connor McDavid, swinging past Listerine. MacKinnon blasting that, and it will boomerang back into the Team Canada zone. 1 minute gone. And the penalty to Mikkola. MacKinnon to wind it up. He'll defer to McDavid. McDavid in with Celebrini. Holding on and kicking it back to McCarr. MacKinnon available on one side, they go to the other. And now through McDavid. Cale McCarr gives it back. The captain into the slot. Back door, and the shot right on. Rebound.
To the air.
Celebrini stopped and went high in the air. Team Canada's got it. MacKinnon again. That's another big stop by Saros. MacKinnon, McCarr, downhill, across, McDavid, and Saros turns him aside. In the final minute, back to McCarr again. It's Connor McDavid, across, bounce past MacKinnon. Trying to help out Reinhardt, worked it loose, Celebrini in front, McDavid, MacKinnon scores! Nathan MacKinnon, 35.2 left.
The full 2 minutes and then some. Finally, Nathan MacKinnon back heel one-timer. Short side on Saros, but he gets it up just enough. He's been waiting on that one. Celebrini, get out of the way. Oh, it banks off the bottom of the foot, and now Finland will call a timeout. 35 seconds left. I mean, if you're going to score, might as well score as late as possible for Canada. Full 2 minutes.
Finland is challenging that the play was offside prior to the goal.
They're going to call the challenge on the entry initially when McDavid chipped it over to Celebrini. It happened a good minute before the goal. It's worth the challenge. I'm not sure.
The linesman will take a look at this.
Sure this one is onside.
This has usually a challenge for offside is one, but in this case it feels like last ditch. Find out if they're right.
So that's Celebrini's right skate, vertical plane. McDavid sent himself offside. I can't. Here's a better look at it. Where's Celebrini's skate? Where's the puck? We need the bottom of the camera.
Yeah, it's closer than we would have expected.
It's very close. So that's a freeze for us. And that puck's in the air, so it's tough to say if it's actually over the blue line. There's a great look. I see a heel touching.
Just barely, doesn't it?
It feels like the heel is just touching. But it is
from our Canadian-made glasses.
Fractionally close.
But it is as close as it could possibly be.
Team Finland's watching the replays in our monitors, and they're saying, see, the same replay shows that it's offside. I think that's good. That one right there feels like it's good. Now, there is no central command. There is no war room in Toronto. This is the linesman making the call in the penalty box, and they've made it.
There we go. Ryan Daisy talking to Dan O'Rourke.
After review, the call on the ice is confirmed. We do not have an offside. We have a goal.
You can exhale, Canada.
With a failed challenge, fence line.
Doug Armstrong with a golf clap.
And Chris.
Yes.
Penalty box door is open for Finland.
You don't blame the Finns for that, though.
No, I mean, you got to do it. It's so close. 5 on 4. You want your best defensive group out. Now you've had time. Whoever's rested, whoever you need. There's going to be Stone, Marner, what would be Crosby, Suzuki, Taves, McCarr with the man advantage. Obviously, Saros is going to go the second Finland gets possession of the puck.
McDavid an assist, so another multi-point game. That's his 5th consecutive in the tournament. MacKinnon's 4th. And now they'll try and enter the zone and turn back with the empty net. So 5 skaters each here with a couple dozen seconds to go. A lead feed, Heiskanen can't get loose. The car doesn't clear, but now it gets bumped outside the line. Looks like it hit somebody at the Team Canada bench.
Family's waiting on the call. That's everyone. Finally, Doug Armstrong, not so stoic. Wait, Gretzky waiting on it. Now, even back to Cole Harbour, that'll be good. That puck hit someone in Canada's bench, face off in the defensive zone. And now another timeout's been called. Who is the right side face-off guy? It's got to be Nate MacKinnon to take the draw.
Finns have won 54% of the draws in this game, 54.2. Canada's been better in the 3rd period, but there's one more big draw. Remember, the first goal of the game came off a clean Finn face-off win that Rantanen put in the net 2 seconds after the puck dropped. What drama? A 2-goal finish lead, 3 straight for Team Canada, hoping it's 3 unanswered.
Marner or McDavid's got to get to Rantanen right away.
MacKinnon digging in, it will be Aho. Rantanen resets. Works for the linesman as he digs in. Rob to the boards. The car bumped it out. Rantanen has it. Aho. Rantanen. Back it goes and out. And they're going to run out of time. Heiskanen back. Chased there by McDavid. Up the boards. Granlund had to go off. Look out. Aho. One more chance. Weak shot to the corner. And this one's done.
Hang on, hang on. They might put a fraction back on.
Yeah, you're waving to both benches that it is not over yet.
Bennington,
let's see how much time remains.
Bennington knows what's going on. He tried to throw it to the corner to expire the clock. If there's going to be time, it's going to be 0.4 or less.
Granlund had to leave the ice. His helmet was knocked off.
That was way too much room for Aho, though, at that point of the game.
It was over, but it's not a good guy to give him an opportunity.
And you can hear the whistle going before Bennington pitched it. So they'll have to take a look, re-rack it when the whistle went. Oh.
The catch, we're told, was with 1.4 to go.
That's more than I thought. They're going to go 1 point.
They're going to go 1-3.
1-3. So any scrum. Sam Bennett stepping in.
White-knuckled through back-to-back medal round games. And 1.3 away from claiming a spot in the game everybody came to be in. Bennett on the draw. Team Canada wins the face-off, wins the game, and are headed to the gold medal game. Finn's always a tough out. Never tougher than today. Nathan MacKinnon, the hero, with a goal in the final minute. 1924. Before finally dispatching the Finns.
It's an Olympic gold medal to compete for. It's not supposed to be easy. It wasn't. But Sam Bennett grew into this game. Brad Marchand and Nathan MacKinnon as well looked healthier than we've seen in a while. Canada finding a way, resilient and composed, to get it done in the end, and they've given themselves a chance, 2 more days off, to go for that gold.
Definitely a team win. Shane Theodore with just under 10 minutes to go, got it tied, and then Nathan MacKinnon in the final minute. Well, they're battle-tested now after comeback wins against Czechia, a comeback win against the Finns, so the first time that a team has gone back-to-back comebacks to get to the gold medal game. Final shots, 39-17 in favor of Canada. UC Saros valiant in defeat. What a game, what a tournament! And lots more to talk about. James Duthie.